Hey folks, how you doing? Black Wolf here, aka Alex, with Johnny the Irish Wildling, and we're just doing a simple live stream about if Jon Snow will make it. Basically, his end game, what he's going to be doing, what it's going to affect, things like that. So we got some questions we're doing, and who better to ask than the Irish Wildling? I mean, after all, he's right there. He probably knows everything that's going on. Go ahead, Johnny.
It's a secret. It's an absolute secret. Now, what's good? I appreciate so Black Wolf, aka I just call him Alex, who's not English. Alex, who's not English. Absolutely. Cheers for having me on, homie. I'm Johnny the Irish Wildling, Johnny Joy in Spain, Johnny Stark. All these names that YouTube is a bigot against me for. And in this stream, I will be Johnny the Steve Advocator from Stranger Things. He's my homie, and Johnny the Stannerman, because that's the only banner worth raising for true justice. Let's get it.
There you go. Well, how you guys all doing? You guys doing great today? Milt, I see you're in here. I know we had Broke Black Man early. We had Broke and I believe Eduardo.
Dang.
But
Dang, Rushy.
let's see.
I only gave him the Mustang.
Boom, got the questions popped up. All right.
Get it.
First one, y'all, is where will Jon Snow appear in episode 1? And oh boy, I think he'll be coming into White Harbor probably, and trying to head up to Winterfell, because I'm not gonna lie, I do read the spoilers, so I feel like that was. Are we doing? Well, I guess it's my channel. I can do spoilers if I want. Spoiler alert for those people who don't like spoilers. Pop out a little minute. But apparently, Hardhome, not Hardhome. The Umbers, their place has been destroyed, and then Ned Umber, and who's the new? You know, when he was. Man, my mind is just going ridiculous right now. Okay, season 7, one of the last episodes when he first becomes the king. And there's those 2 young kids. I know one was Ned Umber and the other one was, I can't remember what house she was from. But apparently those 2 places.
Karstark. Are you talking about the Karstark chick?
Yeah, she's real young. And yeah. So those 2, apparently those 2 get annihilated. And if that happens, then Jon Snow's definitely gonna have to head back to Winterfell. That's my opinion. Think about it, there's really nowhere else he would go. I mean, what else would he have to do? I mean, maybe head back to where the Lannisters are in King's Landing to try to get Cersei to see sense. But even if that happens, I mean, she'll probably just kill him right away. So the only place for him, in my opinion, to go is Winterfell.
Well, to answer your first question, which is going to be the same question we are on, is you said, where will Jon Snow be? Inside Dany. Where will Jon Snow be coming? Inside Dany. I think it's a plural. But for real, it's and on the spoilers, I read the spoilers too, and I don't believe them. I think some of them. I think it's just somebody taking educational guesses to be real. I read them. I was like, it seems okay. But it's like, no, with season 7, I was totally going, that's what's happening. And like, I was 100% on board putting videos out on it. With this one, I'm like, no, that just feels like a real good, like a fan fiction. You know what I mean? Nothing with a hit. You know what I mean? It didn't hit me. Personally, like, I'm not saying it, I don't believe in it. And Milt is on that shit. He does say Alice Karstark was the name. I would trust him. He's Mr. Smart.
Thank you for that, Milt.
And what's good, Felicia, as well. What's good. But I honestly think, in my opinion, then, if I don't believe in the spoilers, I have to go off my own intuition, which I would see the first episode being based around Bran, to be honest with you. because I think in season 7, I think we'll get like in episode 1 specifically where you said Jon Snow, I think we'll get a visual of them on the boat, you know, arriving in a like in the north together with Dany, as in it'd be a monumental picture of the two houses back together, kind of. And then I think the whole center of that episode though will be on Bran. So that's all I see happening with Jon Snow in episode 1, because Bran needs more context and depth, because he did not get that in season 7. And if he's supposed to fix everything, he did not get enough of that time to show us his well done, you can say shit. That's all you're doing.
Right. I agree. They should have given us a bit more content on him in season 7. I think everyone kind of feels that way, because everyone's like, oh, okay, he's Three-Eyed Raven now. Like, what's up? You know, what's he going to do? And not that he wasn't impressive. He was. But I think, like you said, people just needed to know a bit more depth and know, okay, you know, what exactly can he see? You know, does he just freak out around the Night King and that's why he can't warg the crows whenever he's around, he looks at him? Or is that just him freaking out, or is that the Night King actually being able to kick him out of the crows when he's in there, or what's the deal, you know? So there's a whole lot of mystery that surrounds Bran, and I think that's kind of what G.R. Martin and Dan and Dave are wanting, because, I mean, think about it. He's got the key to everything. All the questions we ask where we're like, I don't know. Bran knows, so it's probably why they're doing it like that, if I had to guess.
You know what it felt like to me is like Bran is supposed to be like, I always had in my mind, and it's a Jon Snow stream, so I'll be quick about this, is in my mind, I remember 2 years ago when on Channel 1 was I had this thing where Bran, like Professor X, I had him like, I was like, if Bran is so important, what could he be? Like with these gifts that we've seen, how could you utilize them? And in my mind, I had it like Bran is able to like turn into a raven and fly to one of the castles, and it's like a chess game. You know, he's able to direct the armies of the north and the combined thing. I was like, that would make sense as to why Bran's important then, because he's going to the Karstarks. Oh, they're coming down on the left, come up on the right, and he's flying in a raven telling them. And then, you know, to the right, it's a chess game, Bran versus the Night King. I'm like, that would be very important. That would make Bran very important, because he's the general giving the signals out as to the moves of them. I'm like, that makes sense. And obviously, the more I see now, I'm like, maybe it's not. All I'm getting from Bran so far in season 7 is it's kind of like, remember when you were a kid and you played Pokemon, you had Charmander, a beast, and you did not know what he would turn into. And it's kind of like Bran, he turned into a Jigglypuff, because he's kind of like Varys. It's like you have all these gifts and all you're doing is whispering. I'm like, what the fuck? Well done, you re-quote with Littlefinger. So, yeah, he turned into Varys. He's let down, floppy cock. You know what I mean? But back to Jon Snow. It's just, he let me down so far.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of expect more. You expect more, but, you know, at the same time, I feel like if they're going to do it and give us what we want, they're going to have to do some hardcore Bran scenes. Although I don't think Bran really is able to have sex, so I'm kidding. But what I meant is, you know, scenes that have a lot of him in it and explain behind the scenes and everything. But either way, it's going to work out. Hopefully they take it pretty seriously, and since they're recently in 2019, hopefully they put the work into it. We don't have another Gendry scene where he runs to the wall in no time.
yeah, don't you be shit talking Gendry. Yeah, that was the only positive I took from that. Oh, Hasperetti, yeah, that's the closest I got. Any win from him, regardless how bad it was, I took. I ran with that.
Hats off to him. I mean, he could probably beat any Kenya runner today. Good grief. But yeah, that was crazy.
But like, to keep it on the topic that you said, Alex, is to answer your question in short, in episode 1, Jon Snow, seeing as that's what your stream is about. In episode 1 of that, I believe that it will be a shot of them coming north, and I think episode 1, that's where I went on Bran, because I think the first episode should center around Bran mostly. Like that's the way I see it, because like you need to start catching up on me. So I think that first episode would be more centered on him, and we just get a vision of Jon Snow coming. Do you know what I mean?
I get you. And then they can set everything up, and everything will, you know, come back together and make sense and everything. But all right, y'all. Second question we got going on here is, well, I kind of put information before, so I'm just going to go ahead. Some people say that Jon Snow apparently is Azor Ahai, and my question to y'all is, if that's the case, and he's supposed to forge Lightbringer, based off of various spoilers that may or may not be true, do you think he will sacrifice Melisandre in order to make Lightbringer if he's supposed to, or do you think he'll sacrifice Dany? From a personal standpoint, I don't think he'll sacrifice Daenerys just because, I mean, it's like Ygritte. You know, when it came time to kill her, when it actually came time to kill her, he probably couldn't do it, you know. Whereas, you know, his Night's Watch brothers, they saw her as just some regular old wildling, so they were able to kill her. And it's kind of the same way here with Daenerys, if you think about it. Daenerys is kind of the outsider as far as being a Targaryen in the North doesn't like her and stuff like that. But Jon does. And he realizes her true colors and realizes her true heart. And so I think that's why he won't be able to kill her. As far as... I don't... Man, I'm not sure if that Lightbringer theory is true. I mean, if anyone... Smokescreen makes a point, I agree. Chris from Smokescreen is anyone can be Azor Ahai if you look close enough. But the purpose of Azor Ahai Lightbringer is to create a sword that will defeat the Night King. Well, we've got Valyrian steel, we've got Dragonglass. What can Valyrian steel and a sword that's on fire? You know, what's really the difference there? Not much, I don't think. So, but let's say it happens. He is Azor Ahai. He does wield Lightbringer. I think it'll be Melisandre for sure, because she's already going to die anyway. What better way to die than to forge a Lightbringer and stuff like that?
No, Alex, they're good points. I kind of say you're right or you're wrong because I'm not one of them people. First of all, because I don't know. It's a theory, as you just pointed out. You could be well right. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion, I like that what you said about Chris from Talking Thrones. That's Dan. Dan, shout out Dan. But sorry, my bias. But if Chris said that, that's a very good it's a very good conception to think of, because anybody could be. It's kind of like Moses. If you really wanted to be Moses back in the day, well, then just grow a beard and tell people you walked on water. See how many people it sticks with. Do you know what I mean? Like, anybody could be that, really. So I think that's an interesting way to look at it. In my opinion, if the Azor Ahai thing is true, and this doesn't hit well with a lot of Game of Thrones fans, but I believe Nisa, who the sword was drawn through, is Arya. Because you have to remember, that sword was struck through the one he loved. Out of the whole Stark family, Arya and Jon Snow, they have a bond. You know, there's absolute love there. So I could see that being the only way. And like, as you made a great point there, saying Jon Snow was hesitant with Ygritte. So I could see if it was to come to fruition, I could see maybe Arya, because she's that cold and numb now, she'd probably, with Jon Snow, she'd probably grab his hilt. And then, you know, she's that type to be like, you have to do it. And then like push it in her. As Jon Snow hesitates, going, I'm not doing that. And then you have an amazing scene that makes you cry, that's Game of Thrones. So that would be my opinion on, if you're doing the Azor Ahai, that's the route I'd go. Arya goes out like self-sacrifice, badass. Jon Snow becomes who he needs to be. And it breaks your heart at the same time. True Game of Thrones shit. That'd be my opinion on it.
Good points. And yeah, that's true. The Nisa prophecy was, you know, whoever you love. And yeah, as far as, I'm sure he loved Ygritte. Yeah, I'm sure he loves Dany. But as far as who he loved first and who he loves deepest, I think he loves Arya very, very deep, because they've got like you said, their bond is just, you know, it's like yin and yang, you know, peace sign, black on one side, white on the other. You know, they're going to be great together. And I hope we get to see a scene actually where they fight together. That'd be kind of cool. Seeing them, her fighting, you know, with his sword that he made for her, that'd be really cool.
Alex, all I want is a hug. I just want them to hug, and then they can kill everybody. I don't care. Just give me that. We got thrown off with the Sansa shit. Like that was not a reunion. You know when people say the Stark reunion, that was not a Stark reunion, in my opinion. You can make jokes on Jon Snow and his bloodline. He's still Stark too. Like people forget that. Is Arya? She is the original Wild Wolf in this time, and for her and Jon Snow, once they hug each other, you can kill everybody. I don't care. That's it. That's my moment. That's my ending moment. Go, thank you, G.R.R. Now you can kill Jon Snow slowly with snakes and Ramsay biting his nipples. I don't care. Just let Arya and Jon Snow hug, and I'm fulfilled. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. That reunion was a bit shallow, kind of. Yeah. So, I maybe they did that to set us up, to where we're like, okay, why? I feel like there should be more of a reunion, but maybe when Arya and Jon, see each other, that's when they'll put it on and they'll show us, Heck, he was. I mean, you remember him at Castle Black when he saw Sansa, he was like, so he'll probably be crying once he sees Arya. So.
AC, use your left.
But
that's a perfect cue for your friend to laugh in the background. He'll probably be crying when he sees Arya in the back.
And that's after I told him, hey, I'm doing a live stream, bro. Like, but hey, it's all right.
It's kind of like Arya and Jon hugging, and then the Hound in the background going salty cunt. It's like, yeah, Sandor, shut the fuck up for a Eduardo asked a question in there, Alex. You want to go for that? I'll go after.
Yeah, I was waiting for us to get done here. Eduardo, several different people calling the comet the sword or the red sword. What's the meaning? What do you?
He's saying, the red scorch in the sky. Like everybody who sees that around the world, they have a different meaning for it. Like, what's your meaning for it?
Oh, what's my meaning? Okay. Like, are we talking Game of Thrones wise? Or are we talking real?
I'm sorry,
because as far as
has been touching that weirwood before we came on stream.
No. Well, what I mean is, like, if we're talking Red Comet and Game of Thrones, then it would be, I would say it's the sign of a dragon or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but if we're talking real Game of yeah, he said Game of Thrones. So you're like,
no, continue your answer. I'm curious now. Go on, crazy.
Yeah, Alex, that's what we're talking about. Didn't you start this stream? Oh man!
No. Hey, Eduardo, do you mean real or not? No, Eduardo, I'm more curious about what he's going into now. Continue. Reality. We're talking about reality now, yeah?
Continue. Right. Well, I know there's cultures that think, red in reality, here on Earth or whatever, that actually think red comets mean something. So, me personally, I don't. This is kind of yin or yang. Take it how you want it. But I personally think it might mean when a red comet goes by that there's been a lot of bloodshed. If it's that morning, that night, or if it's at night, that day or whatever, that there's been more bloodshed than normal in the world. So that's whether that's true or not, it's up to you. But
this motherfucker is totally stealing Legolas lines from Lord of the Rings. A blood moon, there's blood shed.
Oh yeah,
you thieving bastard.
Oh yeah. Once Legolas said that, I was like, oh, that makes complete and total sense. I mean, from a certain point of view, I guess. But no, with Legolas, it was a red sun. Yeah, he was like, oh, red sun rises. Blood has been spilt on this night. So red sun, red comet, take it how you want it. But I mean,
sorry, that's funny. Go ahead.
Oh man,
Eduardo is getting furious there in the chat. No, the comet in Game of Thrones. But Alex was saying though he thinks the comet in Game of Thrones is like dragons, the return of dragons, and actually I agree with that as well. Like it's so simple and basic, but I'm like, I can remember when fucking Bran, remember when they were all up in the north, and then Wildling O'Shea she's like, it means dragons. And like, that's somebody that's from the north. You know, I mean, she's not from Essos where they're all on that dragon wine propaganda shit. She's like, that means the return of dragons and shit. And it's like, even someone from that far away from that culture to be indoctrinated to believe that still. So I think that kind of spoke universally. I was like, yeah, I'm with that, as Alex said, with like, I think it is dragons. And factually, we know by season 2, when that was said, that dragons had returned. So sometimes the easiest answer is the correct one, maybe. That's just my opinion, though.
Sometimes it's pretty straightforward, like you said in your video about Lannister always pays his debts. You're like, I can't even make fun of that because it's, you know, that's pretty straightforward. Lannister pays his debts.
Oh yeah.
What happened in the background of Alex's mic is his mate was reacting to a Lannister not paying their debts.
No, I'm sorry about this, guys. He's playing Xbox, and so I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, he's playing Xbox. So
maybe the red comet in the sky means the PlayStation 4 is the better console. Like, who knows?
Oh man, you know, I'm not people who I watch on streams and stuff like that. They have PS4s. You got a PS4? I think Broke Black Man. He's got a PS4 too, doesn't he?
Yes, sir.
God, I gotta get a PS4, dude.
Me, Pete, David, and Andy, man, we'd be rocking that shit.
That would be very fun.
And it's black too, so we're all multiculturalism and shit.
We're supporting everybody at the same time, right?
Although I play with a blue joypad, so I'm even more multiculturalistic than y'all. Is multiculturalistic a word? It should be.
It is now.
Yeah,
copyrighted
on Alex's stream. That's the first time.
Oh man.
Eduardo says, sure, old man said about the dragons. So Eduardo's with that. And then Felicia is like, I know the feeling. My boyfriend does the same thing. Oh, with Xbox. Will we just call it John Microsoft Snow? Rename it.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you know, I don't want to tell him, hey, you have to be quiet as a mouse when I'm streaming. But at the same time, you know, I am streaming. So.
Manners. You have to stand and say. Sometimes you have to like you have to Ned Stark it, and sometimes you have to stand and it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a balance. There's a balance between them.
That's I Ned Stark it too much. I need to get a little bit more Stannis in me. I'm not gonna lie, but
now you sound like Melisandre.
He's the prince who was promised. Fire is the purest death. This woman is a demon.
Welcome to Alex role playing online, y'all.
I'm sorry.
I see your true colors shining now. So don't be afraid to take that stag in. True colors. Well, this is your rodeo, Alex.
Oh, I know, man. I'm looking at this next question here. So, will Jon Snow and Daenerys get married? I think yes, because if you guys saw in episode 2, I believe, how angry Jon got with, like, when Sam was asking him about, you know, why didn't you sleep with that girl or whatever, and he said, you know, I didn't want to father a bastard, you know, or, you know, I didn't want to father a son with the name Snow. Because he is a bastard, he's very sensitive and adamant to, you know, the trials and tribulations of a bastard, and, you know, how they're viewed, and, you know, how the mother of the children might view the bastard as, you know, how Catelyn viewed him as, you know, below her children, things of that sort. So I think he'll marry Daenerys just solely off of that argument right there, the fact that you could see in his face and body language, you could see that's something he really was like, I will not father a bastard, you know. So I think they will get married.
That's a great point, man. And just on that wording alone of, like, when he was having that conversation with Samuel back in season 1, then, you know, about why he would not sleep with Roz because he didn't want to bring another bastard into it, which is exactly what you're touching on. And that's a great point, like, when you weigh that into context. And, you know, I think if Jon Snow gets married to Daenerys, it's a death sentence. It basically means they'll have a child, and that child will be raised in the new world, and that'll be the end of it, of that child coming in with Tyrion as the Watcher. I always had that thought in my mind, and it's like, if he gets married to her, then Jon Snow is not surviving this story. Do you know what I mean? Because that's his arc complete. You know what I mean? It's the old writing routine. If he marries her, that's his arc complete. Then, like, now you can kill him.
I guess
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Oh gosh, I hate that. Yeah,
You depressed me now as well. I'm just going, no.
because I'm like, yeah, his arc would be done. His arc, oh, yeah, what? Yeah.
Now you can kill him. See, that's what it is, isn't it? It's like, now we can kill him.
Yeah, you're like, now we can kill him. Okay, we can. Oh, don't do that. But you know,
the Red Wedding was like the uprising of the like Arya Stark, you know, coming to our Wild Wolf, where her arc now gets stronger, and you fall in love with her character, what she's been through, and you feel so bad for the Starks that are gone. Like that, the Red Wedding was a setup. It was Robb Stark and Catelyn gone. Well, Catelyn kind of gone, but it was the setup for now. It's a redemption arc for the rest of the Starks. You know, Sansa's in the political game. She's going to play it intellectually. Jon Snow's going to come down from the north at some point and save them. Arya's going to come back over from the east. They're all going to come home as these, like, more evolutionized, there's a new word, evolutionized characters. You know, where you're with them. That's what the Red Wedding did. That's that arc complete now. So if Jon Snow marries Daenerys, that's his arc complete. Do you know, which means you can kill him. You can afford to kill him if he gets married. Think about it.
very true. Because he's, you know, what else is he gonna do? I mean, you know, because the kingdoms. Well, that's another question that we got. We need to get through these questions so I can talk a little bit. But yes, I agree.
Get it, Alex. Get it home.
Fourth one here we got is think Jon will settle back and be warden of the north and let Daenerys rule the Seven Kingdoms. It's kind of a two-part question. Or will the Seven Kingdoms be governed by their own separate seven rulers? Let's see. I mean, we all know how Jon is. He doesn't want the kingdom. I mean, I think even once he realizes he's Aegon Targaryen, you know, he's humble, he's honorable, he's got good morals and stuff. He's never been one for power. You know, he's the opposite of Lannisters. So I think even then he'll be like, okay, I'm a Targaryen. Great. We still got to kill the Night King, so let's get this over with first, and then we'll worry about everything else later. And even still, I mean, Dany's always wanted it, so you know, she might let him be warden. She can be queen, and then probably legitimize Gendry and have him king over dragons, or not Dragonstone, king over or not. I'm not sure where he would be lord of. Where would he be lord of? Name the Baratheon.
Are you talking about Jon?
No, I'm talking about Gendry. The Baratheon. What's their main cast? Is Storm's End? Okay, yeah. Duh. Anyway, Storm's End. Have Gendry be the Lord of Storm's End, and but let's say that doesn't happen. I think there's a pretty strong argument for maybe the Seven Kingdoms having their own separate seven rulers. Because
yeah, no, that fits with the break the wheel. Dany did say she wants to break the wheel, so like, I'm with you, Alex. Preach.
I mean, think about for years upon years they've had this, you know, monarchy thing going on, and it hasn't worked at all. You know, the powerful stay in power, the weak are always weak, which that's, I mean, as we know today in this world, that's kind of how it is until the powerful.
Here, do we tell Alex that his mic is muted now or later?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was nodding like I could hear shit.
No, you weren't. You weren't. I was going off you, so I was like, yeah. I wasn't even paying attention. But where am I starting? Oh, so Gendry, Storm's End, and all that. But I think that Oh shoot! I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh, separate 7 people. You know, in order to break the wheel, you've got to throw in a curveball that no one knows. You know, because think about it. Even if they have this thing, they kill a Night King. As a peasant, you're used to the way things are. As a person in power, you're used to the way things are. So things would kind of go back to how they were anyway, just because that's what everyone's used to. Even though, oh, as a peasant, you guys may not treat us that well or whatever. We're all, when you're comfortable in what you know, you tend to kind of go back to it. So she's going to have to break the wheel completely, and that means change it up to where the power have less power, the people have more say. In order to do that, you've got to have seven separate people for the 7 separate kingdoms all come together. Um, let's say 3 times a year or something. That way you can convene on, hey, what are you doing? What's best for these people? Blah 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 blah. And it'll be kind of like capitalism at that point, a little bit. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I mean, I'm even going to take it one step further with everyone getting used to how the way things roll. Think about, and I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. Slavery, and that's not just black and white for anybody. When you're used to, when your mom, grandma, and your mom, and whatever, and that's what you're used to. You're used to, okay, we're slaves or whatever. Think, the slaves have the numbers. Usually, slaves have the numbers. So, why would you stay for 400 years and be a slave? Not because you want to, not because you don't want to break out and whatever, but there's a certain amount of, well, this is how it is, and you get used to it, and let's just kind of ride the wave or whatever. And so she's kind of got to. That's why I think she's got to break the wheel and change it up completely, because that's Westeros is known to have a monarchy, and it'll naturally want to get back that way anyway if you don't change how everything's politically handled, basically. And don't arm the faith militant. Good God.
Nice save. Don't worry, I'm glad my rebuttal to that was not touching on that. I was actually agreeing with you to a degree, because the points that you make, do you remember over in Essos when the old dude was saying to her, look, this is all I know. And he actually wanted to go back to slavery in a sense, and she was like, okay, but she was telling him you have to be free for this amount of days. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's actually telling him you have to be free, because to go with everything that you're saying, it was ingrained in his mind. This is all we know. And that's one of my biggest problems with Daenerys as a whole, is in you want to change this whole, like, your goals and your means are great. I'm sure any person with an inch of a heart does not disagree with you. Where I disagree, I dislike you because your vanity it just annoys me. And the reason then when it comes with logic, where I have to be unbiased, is because imagine you pull a simple analogy. If I pull the curtain out from if I pull the cloth out from under the table, no, like a magician, and none of the cups or anything move. Nobody they can do that, and they don't smash or anything. It's like Daenerys has done that, and there's no table underneath, so she looks great. Freedom. That's my problem with Daenerys. That's my analogy on it. There's no table underneath. And that's where I'm like, how dare you even do that now? You know what I'm saying? We can all ride the banner of freedom. It's so fucking easy. It's freedom, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mel Gibson when he was Scottish. You know what I mean? It's all about that Braveheart. Freedom. Who disagrees with freedom? So that's my problem, is the foundation is she's a magician, and she's taking all the plaudits going, freedom. I'm the one who's doing the freedom, as she's pulling it. And there's no table underneath this. There's no table underneath this trick. Swag. So it's just, and that's where I have a problem with.
Johnny said it first. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, I agree. She's got a. Sorry about that. She's got people basically believing. I feel like she almost didn't think it all the way through. You know what I mean? She's just like, okay, freedom. Oh, wait a minute. What do I do afterwards? You know what I mean? Because you got to think. Well, heck, you and I were talking about this the other day, weren't we?
Yeah.
Was it on a live stream or no? I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeah, it was on live stream. Yeah,
It was
correct.
okay. Well,
We ended
then,
up going on a Daenerys Targaryen hate filled.
Yeah.
Not hate. No, it wasn't hate. I would rather call it a logical conversation with a bit of bias against her. That's
Yeah.
what I would call it.
because I mean, from a logical standpoint, I mean, think about it. You've got to
I see you're right beside me.
you've got to be able to. She basically took all the money away from Essos, more or less. Which I mean, yes, your slaves shouldn't be used as money, but
It's all right. We'll make
okay,
it-
take away their
you can
slaves,
function this
just give them some other way to make money, so their economy doesn't just tank. You know, so. But like you said, it's easy to. Oh, David, how you doing? But like you said, it's easy to ride that, freedom train or whatever. So
Yeah, right. Imagine you went into streams. Yeah, let's modernize it. Yeah, now, Alex, forgive me. This is probably the worst thing I've done to you and anybody online. But I'm going to place you as the modern Daenerys for a second. Forgive me. That's worse than racism to me. So forgive me. I don't mean it. Is the reason why I'm doing this is imagine you start going into streams now, and you start putting hashtag let's solve world hunger. And now everybody sees you as, oh, that's that dude who wants to solve world hunger. He preaches against like world hunger. He wants to feed everybody. What a cool dude. I'm behind him. Now put a few months and weeks into that, people see you as that's your feeling. And now what happens then when they actually come to you about making crops? You have no fucking clue. Yeah, people love you because you made, the perception about like, feeding the world, and you have no clue how to do it. Yeah, you took all the vanity and niceness from that, from that gimmick that people think you're a nice dude. And underneath it, what's the old saying? It's like you're as vast as an ocean, but the depth of a fucking puddle. That's Daenerys. Do you know what I mean? That's where I have a problem. Like that's it. That's it.
yeah, and that's I plan on doing a series here that's called Smarts of Game of Thrones, which compares the intellectual smarts of each character and rates them on a out of 10 scale. And that's why I've already made up the papers for most of the characters. But that's why in my book, Daenerys scored pretty low because she pretty much banks off of everyone else's intelligence. I mean, she had the star lineup when it comes to advisors, so she banks off of that, and then she's just like you said, the vision, vast as an ocean, but only as deep as a puddle, and it's just you got to think things through. You got to be realistic and logical and realize, okay, this isn't slavery is not something that you can just. Danny's trying to do the quick and easy, fast kind of way, which is good for the slaves because they get freed, quicker. But if you remember when Tyrion gave them a 7-year, was it 7-year or 5-year plan where they had to cut down their slavery or whatever? That is more realistic because then you can switch your economy over and start selling, ship parts or freaking, kegs for wine or whatever the heck, and you can actually implement new, economical means into your society so that we can actually be presentable and be able to still make as much money as you wanted and all that crap. So, yeah.
Perfect, man. Perfect point. That's why Tyrion is too good for Danny. Fuck Jon Snow and Danny. Tyrion is already too good for Danny because he actually thinks about things. Do you know what I mean? That's why Tyrion would make a good king, but he would not make a great king because, while it is great to wear your heart on your sleeve, that's why I'm always Stannis. Because he will just do a cold rule, and people will read cold rule and be like, "That's horrible." It's not really, because he will have justice at the front. Do you know? Right. Now there will be flaws in that. There's flaws in everything. What's the one thing about being a human being that we all relate to? None of us are perfect. I'm just speaking of a rule. Like Tyrion would be a good king. Stannis would be a great king. I would love a Tyrion as a hand of Stannis. And I know Davos. We can put Davos. Do you know what I mean? And if you put Davos and Tyrion together, they're both really good-hearted dudes. Where it's like when justice should be served, it won't be. And then if you do not serve that, people will start burgling, doing all horrible kind of shit because they know it's so lenient. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think if Stannis had put the fear in them, and instead of just like emphasizing on the fear, like it would like be a safe round. You won't, but you won't like you don't post good news. You know what I mean? You just make a shit. CNN, Stannis would get CNN. You know what I mean? It'd be horrible. Right. Vladimir Putin, Vladimir Stannis, he'd be horrible like on the news. But we agree from a simple Jon Snow thing, and we're in on Danyeri shit. To answer your other thing that you said, you were saying about bringing 3 people together, and it's like even then that's a fail because you know one of them people is Dario, because he's the one that's leading from the east because that's where Danny left him. Imagine him showing up at that meeting, cock-blocked, shamed. You're fucking him now. It's not gonna go well. Like Danny has she's a horrible player of the game. Do you know what I mean? Horrible.
She's basically that person who she plays the game and the only reason she's playing the game is even in the game in the first place is because she's got like some magical weapon that she barely knows how to use that everyone's like, okay, well she's gonna kill us if we don't let her play the game, so let's let her in. You know, or like you know, you're playing a video game or something, you can tell a guy doesn't know how to play the video game, but he has some like OP character, so he's doing well, and he's like, yeah, I'm OP, and you're like, okay, you're using like a character that's stacked, or in Battlefield 1, you're using a shotgun, dude, so yeah, you better be able to freaking kill people. You can just point and go, bleh. That doesn't take any skill whatsoever. But yeah, on your note though, Stannis.
Spot on, Alex. Sorry, I agree with that though. You're spot on.
Oh, you're right. On your note though, Stannis and Tyrion as king in hand, that would be brilliant. Because Stannis would be way too kind of, well, like Vera said, he'd be too brittle. He'd be a little bit rude and a little bit too hard and too cold. Whereas Tyrion would be like, hey, my lord, listen. He wouldn't say my lord. He knows how to speak proper. My lord. He would say,
55 right now.
hey, my lord or my king, you know, maybe we should let up a little bit on this, or, you know, put a little bit more thought into this. So he would take a little bit of the edge off Stannis, and it would just make things just perfect.
That's it exactly. It's like, because I've had that debate with people, and it's like, well, Stannis already had like one of the best other characters ever, Davos, and it's like, yes, but because Davos is a nice dude, he's like Tyrion, and because Tyrion's a nice dude, he's like Davos. It's like, no, these are 2 completely different people. Just because these have good hearts doesn't mean they're in the same category. Davos came from the bottom, and he got given, you know, like we can go into this, and then Tyrion was born into it, neglected by it, and then brought up. Like I can see similarities of not being able to take your role, but Tyrion has always like he's neglected his role due to everybody being disgusted with him, and Davos, like, he's kind of endorsed his role due to everybody being disgusted with him. So it's very different, really. You know what I'm saying? He didn't care. The Onion, like, fuck it. I'm royalty now, bitch. Tyrion was always ashamed of it. Like, I know he's cocky, but inside he didn't like that. They're different characters, so that's what I would say. Tyrion with Stannis is a better match as king. Davos with Stannis just as a bromanship, yeah, it's Davos Stannis all day, 200%. But Tyrion, like, as a hand, yeah. Tyrion is would anybody argue that? Like, Milt, anybody that, and Alex as well, that Tyrion as hand of the king, like, I think he is the best choice for hand of the king over anybody.
I agree. Sorry. I agree.
You didn't say 2K.
Yeah, Stannis would be a pretty darn good king. Post that again. I'm sorry. I was talking to my roommate. So say what you said again, because I lost my train of thought.
I was saying, who has the bigger penis? Davos?
No, you weren't.
And then Podrick walks in the room. No, I'm only joking. No, I was just saying, yeah. The whole culmination of my point was Tyrion would be the best hand of the king over anybody in the realm, in my opinion. I don't think Tyrion would make a good king, not a great king. Like, that was my point.
Right. Okay, there you go. I agree with you on that. I had thoughts about it. I got just freaking sidetracked. But yeah, I agree. My only thing is don't put any whores around him, and don't put his family around him, and he'll be just fine. Because you put any whores around Tyrion, and he's kind of focuses on that. And I don't know. There's something in me that just thinks that he might betray Daenerys. Just because I mean, yeah, he doesn't necessarily like his family, but
he loves Jamie. Jamie and Tyrion love each other. It's just very awkward right now.
Right. Then again, see, that's the thing. If Jamie comes over and everything works out well, then I think he's all right. But then again, my thing is the reason why I say I'm a little bit afraid of what Tyrion will do is he doesn't care about Cersei, but he might care about Cersei's kid. So would he do something to betray Daenerys' trust for the betterment of Cersei's kid? You know, I'm not sure mentally where he stands with that. Would he say, okay, you know, that's my bloodline, you know, that's my blood, that's my sister's kid. Obviously, he loves his sister's kids. You know, I'm not sure he could say no to looking out for Cersei's kid if he had the chance. You know.
Yeah, well, in Tyrion's experience, the last time Cersei and Jamie had a kid, he wasn't that nice.
Yeah.
To put it blunt.
That's true. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe if it's another Joffrey, then he'll be like, okay, whatever. Daenerys, I'm all yours.
Like, yeah, Milt, what's your opinion on this, Alex? Is Milt makes a point there saying Tyrion wouldn't be a great king because he's not exactly inspirational. What's your thought on that?
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he's not exactly. He's kind of like one of the bros, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be good on the council. He'd be good as a hand, but he's not good as like the figurehead. Like, you know how you got a group of friends. There's always, not saying the one person is more important than everyone else in the group, but there's always that one person in the group who kind of represents your group, who's kind of your figurehead. You know. And by that I mean, you know, one. Let's be honest. We have got friends. We don't care. We're friends with them for whatever reason. So we might have
history. Yeah, I used to work with you, so I'll be nice to you.
So we might have, you know, a stupid friend. You might have a smart friend. You might have a friend who's, you know, more into electronics or whatever. So that's what I think Tyrion holds. Tyrion, he can talk a good talk. He can get the guys motivated for battle. He can hang out with the bros and drink and all that stuff and give them advice as a hand and as counsel. But as a person who you should stand behind and be like, hey, I'm your king, blah, blah. No. He's just, no, that's just not his demeanor. That's not. So, Milt, you hit the nail on the head there. I agree with.
Yeah, do you know what's funny as fuck is because shout out to Al the legend, the Red Sox. He's an absolute gent. Questionably the most gentleman dude on this. But he always calls me to quote Johnny the King, and it's a simple thing. It's such a small thing, but just to analyze and go into it on a psychological level is you know, when he says Johnny the King, I feel uncomfortable because I do not know how to lead people. Not that he's saying it seriously, but I'm saying is, you know, just on a psychological level. It's like and as you're pointing out, I'm a great laugh and I'll be with you in a fight, but I fucking don't know where to fight unless it's me friends are getting hit, which make like I would be a bad king. You know, I would be a great right hand, but a horrible king. Do you know what I'm saying? If that was ever enforced upon me. So like that whole talk, I'm like, yeah, if you're a Tyrion fan, I can't see how you'd get offended by that because I think logistically the stats add up. It's like, no, you're a great hand, not a great king.
Then again, you're good at what you're good at. You know, you gotta know your strengths and your weaknesses. And even still, being hand, that's still pretty darn good. And he's got pretty good advice. I mean, especially with Daenerys. She was kind of chomping at the bit there, wasn't she? She was like, "Oh man, we gotta use the dragons. We gotta use the dragons." He's like, "Whoa, you don't want to be like every other Targaryen who's just come over and you know, you're trying to win the people's hearts over, you know." So yeah, he gives some pretty darn good advice.
Season 7, Tyrion, I think in the show they went out of their way because everybody. This is just my opinion. It's not factually based, unless we're talking about books. But in the show, the impression I got, because ever since season 5, us book readers are watching it. What are you going to do now? And we're free balling it with people who watch the show. So I'm on the same boat right now, except I don't have Dan Yeary's there to kind of annoy me. That's what I'd say. Fuck Dan Yeary's. But like with Tyrion is they went out of their way because everybody loves him to kind of make him stupid. So everything he suggested to Dan Yeary's failed in season 7. I think that was just their reaction because people loved Tyrion so much. And you know why people love Tyrion? Because when they took the Tyrion from the books and followed Tyrion from the books to the show, that's when people fell in love with him. And now they're like, no, now we're just gonna D&D think that J.R.R. Martin are going, now we're gonna flip it upside down. Do you know what I mean? Look at the Hodor shit. We all knew J.R.R. Martin told them that's one thing that was amazing. And then you find out J.R.R. Martin phone called them, said, I'll give you this one. And it's questionably one of the best episodes of the whole series as a show. I'm like, yeah, that's J.R.R. Martin. That's what I think. They just went out of their way. Everyone loves Tyrion. He's liked too much. Let's bring him down the peg. So everything he suggested in season 7, it was wrong. You know, bring the ships here, go here. And they made sure to make it wrong just to try and make Tyrion fans pissed off. That's my opinion. Which ruined the story in a way because it's not about who likes Tyrion and who doesn't. Nobody gives a fuck about that. It's about the story. Like where does Tyrion come into it? He's only one cog in the wheel. You don't have to go out your way to, if people like this cog, to dismantle it. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to do that. So just let it flow. And that's where people are pissed off, in my opinion.
All right,
You might have a good point there. Because yeah, there was pretty big uproar about Tyrion, and I mean, I don't really know anybody who doesn't like him, to be honest with you. I mean, everybody at least likes him a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, he's cunning. At least gives him that. But yeah, you might be right about that, evening it out a little bit. But yeah, just tell the story, and if people like him, okay. If they don't, whatever. What matters is the intricacy and the depth of the story. So, you know. But hey, it's okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get to this other
It's not
question
okay.
here.
Alex, it's
Well,
not.
it's not okay, but until we can all rise up as a people and tell them don't do that, they're gonna keep on doing it.
You sound
Whether
like
it be
Danny Aries
Batman
now.
or
You sound like
whether
that.
Black Panther wins when he shouldn't have won and he probably should have taken his suit off. Whatever it might be. I'm kidding. But
No, right. I need to pay. Right? Can you touch upon Milt's topic there? Because I want to hear this last question. Yeah.
all right.
But can you give me a second? I need to use the lab for a second. That's
Oh, yeah.
Irish slang.
Go
Give
on
me 1
ahead.
second. And
You want-
Milt is going deep. So Alex, you go deep.
Right. Okay. All right, y'all. What's Milt says in the show, Tyrion is a great administrator as hand and MOC, but I think you meant MC there. And MC, but he wasn't a battle commander. Surprised Jorah didn't have more input. That is true. That's very, very true. Dang, Milt, you made a darn good point. Master Coin. Dang, you made a really good point. Yeah, because Jorah's, I mean, what is he, like 60 something? I mean, he's old as hell. I mean, he knows something about fighting. And Tyrion, obviously, I mean, hasn't even picked up an axe to chop wood, so. And that's no offense to him. I mean, he's a dwarf. I mean, everything. But
What'd you say?
at the same time, man, that was a really good point, Milt. Good grief.
I'm probably gonna hop back on. He's on what's called 18.
Like to the point where I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Heck yeah. Anyway, I was just seeing you guys' little comment there in the chat. 60 is not. Oh, okay. What I meant, I should have said this before. 60, everyone, I want to reiterate, everyone, 60 is not old. But for Game of Thrones, 60 is old. So, Eduardo, sir, you are not old.
I'm like, oh, back in 60, he's up 18.
Yeah. Oh, man. This next question we got here, though, guys, is, like I say, guys, I've got the heart of Ned Stark, not the heart of Stannis. So when it comes time to kind of put the hammer down, sometimes it's a little hard for me. I'm learning, though. Unfortunately, I learned a big lesson here, and I basically, life has taught me that at times you have to have the heart of Stannis. You have to in order to do better for yourself or save yourself. So luckily, I learned that lesson the hard way, but I learned the lesson the hard way that you got to have the heart of Stannis sometimes and not have the heart of Ned Stark, because it's nice to be nice, but if you're a nice person, I've learned that people will screw you over pretty hard, and yeah, that happened to me, and that's kind of why I realized, like Johnny said, I realized you got to have the heart of Stannis sometimes, because if you don't, you're gonna end up hurting yourself by trying to help others. You know what I mean? But okay.
Wait, Alex, before you go into that, I just came in at the end of that, man. What the fuck did I miss? But salute and respect to that. That's why I come off like a dickhead to some people, because it's like, I will not let you, you know?
Right.
I will not let you walk. Like, so that's why you give off your persona on purpose to some, and to others you kind of, it's like, yeah, come on, I'll let you in. You are, do you know what I mean? But you have to keep up that persona. I think that's the word. Otherwise, you will be shit on me.
Right. Yeah. And at the end, it's just, you gotta have a little respect for yourself. So.
You got K420 on Xbox? What's his name? How do you spell it?
This is a public chat, guys. So there's more I would like to say, as far as in the comments what I'm talking about. But people can go back and look things up. So that's all I'm gonna say about that situation right there. Anyway, question 5 is, if everyone's destroyed, what main characters do you think will survive? And I'm of the opinion that 7 will, and that they will be based off of the religion of the 7, which is father, mother, maiden, crone, warrior, smith, stranger. So, who do you guys think they will be? Who will they be at the end that'll end up surviving? Now, for my list, I've got father is Jon Snow, mother is Daenerys Targaryen, maiden is Brienne of Tarth, crone, I'm not gonna lie, I got hung up on crone because crone is an ugly, thin old lady, and I don't know. I mean, Melisandre's gonna die. Cersei's probably gonna die. So old Nan's not alive. So what old lady is gonna survive this? Maybe Johnny will have something for us on that one. But I said for Crone, I said Cersei if she's alive, maybe Kinvara, but she's not. Well, I guess if she takes her charm necklace off, she's old. But yeah, Warrior will be the Hound or Bran Stark, because technically he's kind of a warrior of, for the I don't know, for all those, the magical realm, I guess, and the northern blood and everything. Smith, Gendry Baratheon, since he's a blacksmith, and then the stranger would be Arya Stark, since technically, she's no one or whatever. So those are mine, except for, like, say, Crone. I kind of don't have anybody because I'm not really sure who would be, but yeah, that's who I think. And like I say, that order again is father, mother, maiden, crone, warrior, smith, and stranger. So what do y'all think? What about you, Johnny?
Sorry, my internet took a crap.
It's all right.
It's a tricky one. It's like off the top of the dome. Father, I say Jon Snow. Well, if Jon Snow does bear Daenerys' baby, I could see that. And he's the only one that would fit into that, like, because I have every other category kind of covered in my mind. Father, I would agree with you on Jon Snow. Stranger, I would say Arya. I would go mother. I could go pretty ironic and say seriously, but she's not surviving this. And you're saying, so it's kind of, I kind of have to fit in 7 people that survive it to each one. Is that the question? Because I don't think some of them survive it.
And see, that's things is kind of tough because you're like, you know, because anyway, go ahead with yours and I'll comment.
Now I have to think though. For the mother, it's I can see Milt saying for the crown for Catelyn. That's hilarious. But it's I'd put old Nan for the crown. It's pretty obvious. Is she
even still alive? I was about to say.
I was going to say, is she even still alive? Crown, I don't know. Craster's side bitch and why he start fucking his daughters. Hey, if you seen my crown, you'd see why I do what I do. I have no clue for the crown. I'm gonna have to come. No, I have to nail the mother out. Because I think Sansa is the maiden. I think Sandor Clegane is the warrior. I think Gendry is the smith. I think that's probably the most 100% one out of them all. Along with Sansa as the maiden. I think so. I think for maiden and smith, I think Sansa and Gendry, I would be. You can never be 100%. So I'm 99.9%. That's them two. And I would put third running up is Sandor as the warrior. I see him surviving this as a true knight, and then the revolution of the realm to come, you know, and then so you could see him as the new generation knight and maybe teaching a squire how to be, or telling him to fuck off, you cunt. Either way, that's why we love him. But honestly, I'm clueless. Like I can't just force an answer in for the mother. Like who could be the mother? The mother and Crone is that's a devious one.
Yeah, those two stump me. I'm kind of gonna shoot down my own answers here, but as far as substitutes, I think. Oh crap! The people have to survive.
Yeah, that's all fucking up.
And see, these people can be the stranger, the crown, all that stuff, but they don't have to. Like, they can survive but not be one of these. You know what I'm saying? So if I say this person, it doesn't mean Jon Snow won't survive. It just means he's not father or whatever. But I think father could possibly be Davos, because if you think about it, I mean, he is kind of a good father figure. He's that person I mean, for me, I'd go to him and be like, hey, you know, what's your advice on this or whatever, you know? As far as maidens,
on fermented crabs, they give you a hard on son. Nice one, that.
When I heard that, I was just like, Davos, you never know. Like he knows, he kind of knows a lot about, like, he's kind of a handyman, you know. He doesn't really. I mean, obviously he's a smuggler, so he can do well in that. But he can kind of do a little bit of everything. Can't fight well, but he can fight. You know, stuff like that. Can't cook well, but he can cook. It's kind of funny.
It's kind of the tool of all trades, but the master of none, except the heart of the people. You know what I'm saying?
True. Now, what's your voice, or what's your opinion on Sansa as the maiden? Like, why? Technically, isn't a maiden a virgin? I mean, no offense to Sansa, she's not really a virgin anymore.
Well, that's fucked up what you just did there.
I know, man. I mean, and see, I wanted to put Sansa as a maiden. Like, I really did, but I was like, well, technically, because she's not a maiden, I guess technically she can't be the maiden. But
she will be a maiden reborn in the new realm.
Right. Now, I mean, if I was actually talking to her, if it was like my sister or somebody, I'd be like, yeah, technically, you're still a virgin because you got raped or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, as a respect, you know? You feel me there?
Yeah, 100%. But like, it does spawn from, like, love when you water shit down, like, you know what I mean? That's where we're at that stage in maiden where it's like, it's not just down. It wasn't consent, you know, in that sense. So,
yeah,
like, that is why I would go Sansa as a maiden. Like.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing too. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of went Brienne because she's my girl. I love Brienne.
Wait, you said Brienne? That went over my head.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it. But Brienne could be your father as well as the maiden. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
But I mean, Brienne's awesome, man. I mean, I wish she'd get
I'm not a fan.
more
I'm
props.
not a fan. She gets too much props, Alex.
Well, yeah. Maiden is unmarried, right? Yeah, Maiden's okay. You know what? I'm gonna do this on Google real quick, just to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. Because I thought Maiden meant a virgin.
All right, tell me why they even.
That's why I took it too.
Yeah. Come on, Google.
That's why all them to save a political debate on Alex's shit. That's why all them people over in the middle of the East are very strong in their beliefs. It's all about that 40 maidens, baby.
Nah.
Oh man, yeah, it just means unmarried. Okay, so it doesn't mean virgin. All right.
So that completely rules Sansa. It's kind of harder figuring out who Sansa didn't marry in the show at this stage. Like, well, who did she not marry?
Well, yeah.
That's an easier question.
I'm African. I don't want to be black.
That's true.
You know we call black people in Africa.
Oh, we
That's
heard
very
that,
true.
Alex. Don't
Did
worry,
you-
I don't want to be black. What the fuck was that? That is definitely not a maiden. Now Alex is going at his homie because of it.
Oh man.
You
Yeah.
know we call black. Say what again?
I'm about to smash your face in, bro. That's what Alexa's saying. I'm about to slap the white from your black skin, motherfucker. Look, he's lining up. He's lining up that pimp slap.
Sorry, y'all. But yeah. So unmarried, have to be Brienne.
Nah.
I guess, yeah. And
I want to give it to Sansa so bad because Sansa's been through some crap for sure.
Yeah, man. If y'all want to be on technicalities, I'd agree. I'd agree. Like on Sansa still married to Tyrion. That's what I'm saying. It's going to like it's harder to find out who Sansa is not married to at this stage. But if we go by book, Sansa, I'm cheating. She's unmarried, and then she will get when the new revolution begins. She'll marry Gendry, and people will be heartbroken because it's not Arya. Because Arya will be dead because she's the original niece of Nisa, and you're like, this is Game of Thrones, bitch. There's no middle ground.
You know, I think that Eduardo says the marriage wasn't consummated in many medieval societies. That's equal to annulment. Because
That's
yeah,
what
they did make.
Littlefinger said, wasn't it? Littlefinger
Yeah,
said
they
that.
did. They did make a comment about it wasn't, didn't go through because it was annulled. So okay, on technicalities, I guess she's still me.
Creepy bastard.
There was no formal.
Brienne's a good shout though. I just think Brienne's too much of a warrior in her own right. Like she could be more of the warrior than the maiden. But if we're speaking about these specific technicalities, it's like Brienne is obviously a much better shout. Like I don't mind agreeing there, but I don't know. Are you as stranger? Who did you have as the stranger?
That's who I have.
All right.
Yeah, I mean it only makes sense. She's no one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't be cruel. Don't be cruel.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not.
You're already talking all this shit. If you're right in front of me,
So I'm gonna go up to the last and final question here. If she's all right, if Jon Snow is the one who's gonna defeat the Night King, I believe personally that Valyrian steel won't work, and that Dragon Glass obviously won't work since he was made by Dragon Glass. So, what do you think could defeat the Night King, or how will Jon defeat the Night King?
I think it has a lot of stipulations. If you ask me straight up, I think he's obviously that strong. In the show, he's weak in my opinion, but you can easily write him as a badass scene for scene. I think Dan from Talking Thrones, I think he nailed it. I remember talking to him like a few weeks back about he made a theory video, and we were tweeting across to each other, and I was like, I really like his theory that Dragonglass will not affect the Night King, only Lightbringer. And I have to give credit where credit is due. He's the force to bring that to my attention, going, only this sword can affect him. And I was like, you know, that's pretty cool. Only Lightbringer will be the sword. And I think I always stand by my thing that it won't be just a straight on fight. Like, I think Bran, I said this on Kyle's channel like years ago as well. I think Bran is in, I didn't say what Dan said now. That's just a new element to it. So full credit to him. But I always had it in my mind that Bran is going to be in a mind game with the Night King as the Jon Snow fights him physically. So it's kind of like a 2v1 but 2v2 because the Night King is that strong. If you're making a villain, you have to make him that big. You know what I'm saying? For us to give a fuck. So I had Jon fighting him on the playing field, and I had Bran fighting him on the mental game, you know, and then I had Bran actually walking into the Night King and then telling Jon, you have to do it. It's the only way. And Jon Snow knows, like, it's the only time the Night King is kind of weak because Bran's in his mind. And if he kills the Night King, he'll also kill Bran. But it's a sacrifice Bran is willing to make. And it's that awkward scene where Jon is like, oh, to be a hero or not kind of shit. And that's the way I always had it mapped out. And then I'd add in Dan's theory on Lightbringer is that sword that he uses as the only one that could kill him.
That's a darn good idea. Speaking of which, a little bit back, Milt had a good, when you were in the restroom, Milt said something. I'm gonna try to scroll back through and see.
Milt always takes the piss in the chat when I'm taking the piss for real. But they always say, or maybe when Jon draws the sword through the Night King because he loves Bran that much, maybe that's when it's just Longclaw actually becomes Lightbringer because he loves Bran and technically Bran is in the Night King's body, so it bursts into flames. Then you can go so many ways with it.
That would be interesting. Maybe Heartsbane that Sam stole. Maybe that will be the Lightbringer or something like that. That's a pretty good. That's an interesting point that he made, though. What if that is the only sword that can defeat him?
I had a theory video on one of Channel X, let's just call it. I'm at that stage, but it's with Heartsbane. Like I'm with that Heartsbane shit. But Sam gives it to Jorah because now he looked after Jorah kind of, and he's like, "You take it. You are better with a sword than me." And if you look at Jorah, he loved Dany. So maybe he could be a Azor too. As you said, Chris said from Smokescreen that it's very open and vague, which I agree with. And it's like he's the bane of Dany's heart. So it's kind of poetic. If he drives Heartsbane through Dany, do you know what I'm saying? When he's the bane, like she's the bane of his heart, and then he's to do it in reverse. So there's a lot to fuck with.
That's true. And I've been thinking about this. I feel like one of them, between the two characters, either Bran has to die or Daenerys has to die. And Jon is going to be the one to do it. Because think about it, his whole life, he's had to make hard choices. Those hard choices that most of us would be like, oh, you know what, I'm not going to... Let's say Bran works in the Night King, he's got to kill the Night King, and it ends up killing Bran. That's a choice that pretty decent amount of people would be like, okay, no, because I don't want to kill my brother. You know? Whereas if you notice, Jon's always had to make those hard choices of, great, you know, I got to do this. You know, and I really want to do it like this, but I know the right way to save everyone to look out after. It's kind of that, you know, save, you know, kill one to save many thing. So in that case, I think either he's got to kill Bran to kill the Night King, or he's got to kill Daenerys to make Lightbringer, or something like that. So one of those two, I think, is going to end up dying, and Jon's going to have to do. I think that'll be the last kind of hard choice he's got to make. You know.
I agree with that, and you're kind of making me little cogs torn here. You're distracting me, monkeys that normally throw peanuts at an empty chalkboard here. The cogs are turning. But it's like I'm amateur author, not professional. It's like with my book, and it's like when you realize about how to set up A to B and story arcs and shit. I'm like, what you just said there, it correlates as to why I would agree with you on that. To like, will it happen? I don't know, but I can agree with your outlook because it would make sense as to why you would introduce Stannis to Jon. because Stannis around Jon, like Stannis ain't gonna live. I love Stannis, but he ain't gonna live. I want him to die as a hero, you know, marching south and he gets killed, and then Jon Snow picks up the mantle and continues the march. But
as long as he doesn't die like freaking Barristan Selmy.
Yeah, oh yeah, 200%. Don't do us like that. But it's like to go with your point that you were saying, where I'm coming to this is like it makes sense why you would introduce Jon to Stannis then, because remember when Jon Snow took off Janos Slynt's head, he kind of had a father figure of Stannis going, you know, well done, son. You know, kind of looking at him. There's a hard call and you made it. Well done. Why else would you have that kind of thing for Jon Snow if he wasn't going to make that hard choice that you were saying at the end? You know, why would you have that influence to kind of aid him on his path? It's like Stannis is one of the spirits in the temple, you know. It's well done, you completed this, that. You know what I'm saying? On his long road to redemption or whatever. I'm like, I agree with you. I'm like, it fits. It correlates with it. I'm like, that makes sense as to why that was done.
Right. Yeah. Now this is an older comment, sorry to say, but David, I read it. David said, Tyrion is a good hand in the show. If Dany would have listened to him, the Night King wouldn't have a dragon and the wall would still be up. True. Unfortunately.
I can't answer that because I think my whole speech about what they did to Tyrion in season 7 and why that would be my answer. Do you know, that would be my answer to that.
Now that thing that Milt said earlier was brilliant, I think. I mean, you can take it how you want. She said, or not she, he said. In the show, I'm sorry, I didn't mean she. In the show,
Milt, you see this shit.
In the show, Tyrion is a great administrator's hand and master of coin, but he wasn't a battle commander. Surprised Jorah didn't have more input. And once that comment was made, I was like, you know, that's a pretty good observation. Why didn't she use, why didn't she use him a little bit more, since he's 60 something and he's been Game of Thrones, 60 something is like 100 for us. So if you've been around that long, obviously he knows how to survive and do well in battle. So why wouldn't you take his advice? Whereas Tyrion watched his brother pick up an axe to chop wood. So, he didn't even know how to really. Well, I mean, now he knows how to use an axe, but he's not a warrior type. He doesn't have that battle, like Milt said, that battle commander strategic mind. But at the same time, I think he's smart enough to. That's a good question, because there is being smart, and then there is battle smart. Because think about not Stannis Baratheon, freaking Robert Baratheon. Technically, as far as when I do my Game of Thrones smarts series, he's not going to really score too terribly high on smarts. But as far as battle knowledge, I think he would score relatively high on that. You know what I mean? So maybe Milt has a point there. What do you think about that?
I would say simply is it's kind of like putting a chessboard in this is me analogies again off the fly to explain it. I'm good at analogies. It's my only way of explaining myself. It's like putting a chessboard in an aggressive bar. It's you know what I mean? The early hours people will play chess, and Tyrion would be playing against them, and he'd be beating everybody. He'd be genius at it. Now, what happens when you get the angry drunk that throws the chessboard off the table? You're going to call your bouncers in who are used to knowing how to deal with this aggro, how to get them, how to grab them, how to throw them out. That's pretty much Stannis as a bouncer. Tyrion is really good. He's really good on paper, but when it comes to reality, you need a bouncer, which is somebody who is experienced in that type of environment, which is Stannis. If that answer makes sense.
No, it does. Good point. It does make sense. Man, this is. They need. I'm glad they're taking their time to get the show right, but it's a long winter. I tell you what.
Hey D&D, why don't we throw giants in at the start of the season and then forget about them so fans can get all hyped and pissed off later? Oh wait, we already did that.
Right, we don't want any more of that. Yeah.
I still have it. I want 1-1 busting in Winters. I have it poetically in my mind. 1-1 as a white giant busting Winterfell's gates open. You know, in the last season, he busted it open for freedom. Now he's busting it open like for destruction. I'm like, it's poetically beautiful.
Poetically, it is. Yeah, that would stink. Or God
Yeah,
forbid,
well,
Hodor
that's
come
Game of
back.
Thrones. That's what I mean. That's Game of Thrones, though, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
look what happened with Willis. The poor chap was like crippled, and you think, Bran, you fucked him up as a kid. His
Right.
whole life that we seen was him saying that. That's horrible.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like you say, that's Game of Thrones. Still, that episode 9, season 1 was just that set the tone for. By the way, I mean it's obvious, but by the way, just so you know, no one's safe on this show. And once you kind of have that mindset, you're like, well, crap, you know, like you're like, I like this character. He could die though.
Yeah. If you're talking about tone setting, like the way they did it on the show, did they not set the tone when they pushed the kid out of a window? Because like you knew he survived after, but that episode ended with him being pushed.
That's
you know what I mean? So for all you knew, he was dead. So I'm like, you're talking about episode 9, episode 1, mate. You know what I mean?
That is a pretty good tone setter. But even yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that's kind of when they set the tone. But as far as like letting you know like how serious they were, they let you love him for freaking 8 whole episodes, man. For 55 minutes times 8, you got to, you know, get your mouth full of Ned Stark and be like, oh, I love this guy. He's awesome. He's this, he's that, and gone.
Yeah.
So,
do you remember Otaku Assemble? He used to review it, and I remember that he's probably my favorite. You type in, anybody curious, if you're bored, type in Otaku Assemble reaction Game of Thrones season 1. Like, just write in Otaku Assemble Ned Stark, because he calls him man nigga Ned. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he calls him. Like, that's what he doesn't call him by his titles because he was his home. You know, kind of like,
that's awesome.
So it's so like, it's beautiful, like the way he does it. And it's like, shit. And then his brother recorded his reaction because his brother obviously knew what's the good. And he's like, can't believe they killed Matt. You know? And he couldn't talk to him. Then he made a whole review. And he's absolutely pissed. And he's like, he's on the cover of the fucking book. You know what I mean? Like, right. Sean Bean, that's my medieval go-to, motherfucker. You know? It's like, no. Like, your heart kind of breaks a little bit. You're like, It's like, that's beautiful.
That is awesome. I've got to check that out.
Oh, you do, man. He was the first where I was like, actually, people like Game of Thrones. You know, I was like, he was the first dude I ever seen back in like 2011, 12. Where I was like, because when I remember reading the books 2005, 2006, and just, I remember I was trying to tell my friends about it. So you're reading a story about people with incest. You fucking freak. Like, some of my best mates call me a freak. You know what I mean? So when I seen people reacting online and shit, I went back. I never had the balls to stream. And I was like, oh, this dude, it was so refreshing seeing someone come into it just watching the show. And, you know, it's like seeing these characters from the books that are brought to life. And it's like seeing him reacting, going through the motion. It was amazing. And then by season 4, he was just salty and he stopped reviewing them. So, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, man. Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
What I don't get is how come when did it first start? When was the first season, or when was the first book out? First book was out in like 94 or something, wasn't it?
99.
99. And what about the first? What about season 1, episode 1? That was like 2000.
2011 too. It was 2011. I'm sure.
See, how come I first saw Game of Thrones? It's 2018 now, so 17. Like end of 2016. How come it took me till 2016 to hear about this if it's that like awesome? You know, like there's books. I'm a reader. I didn't hear about the books. And then the show's awesome. And it took me till 2016 to hear about the show. Like, did Game of Thrones take a while to get started, or like as far as people like really getting into it, or what's the deal there? Because I'm like, with the books being as thick as they are, and as you know, as much content as they like, I would definitely look in the library for a book like that. So I'm surprised I didn't come across it in the library or something.
I can only speak from my experience, and after I was reading the second book, like as I say, in the mid 2000s, when my friends were saying you're into incest, you know, and I was trying to explain the story. Oh yeah, Jamie and Cersei, and I'm telling them this badass story, and like, oh, Jamie and Cersei, they're having sex, but you said they're brother and sister. Incest? it's just, I don't know if that was the era of us. Like, that's just because Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings were the dominant force of PG, and that was just so, just like, what? And I think it looked like a snuff book. You know, when I was explaining it to them, that's what it looked like, an absolute snuff porno book or something. I was like, what are you reading? And I got lucky with Game of Thrones because my older brother, I'm the youngest of like 3 older brothers. Like, I'm the 4th last, the best to last, I like to tell myself. But that's my humility speaking. Shout out to Davos. But for real, is I remember just robbing one of my brother's books, and he used to read fucked up shit. And I was just bored, and I was like, what's going on here? And just before I knew it, I was enthralled. Do you know what I mean? I was like, this is amazing. And I think maybe that's happened with Game of Thrones, that you're saying in the reading thing. It was kind of one of them dark ones where it's like, let's just put that in the back. Nobody will ever get this. Nobody will ever read it. I think it was just the black sheep of the library. You know, I mean, that's from somebody who tried to tell people about it back in the early 2000s. That's how I felt. I was like, I said, I'm not going to do that again. So when I seen the show come out, I was like, oh, what? Do you know what I mean? I was like, what are they going to do with it? And look at it now. I could never have predicted this, let me tell you. Even though I love the books, I could never have predicted this level. No, I could never have predicted this.
It's gone beyond. It's huge. And I know I've said it a billion times, but I'll say it again. The thing I love about it is the depth. It's a TV show with the depth of a book, which obviously it came from books. But I mean, you all know how Harry Potter is. You all know how Harry Potter is. They
fuck Harry Potter.
Took out big old scenes from the books. They took, what was it, the 4th Harry Potter? They were supposed to have the World Cup. You saw the beginning of the World Cup, and you saw the end. You didn't see the actual, or the World Cup, the Quidditch Cup. You can tell I like soccer, right?
I like your word, man. I like it. Notice how I didn't correct it. I was like, yeah, you're actually giving Harry Potter respect, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they took out that whole scene. There was, pretty good content in there, and you got to see whoever that chick was who was in that little elf who was in the invisibility cloak, and stuff like that. You learned some key information during that, so I don't know why they popped that up. But yeah, so that's what I liked about Game of Thrones is they have the depth of the book, and they actually took the time to take the content from the book.
Yeah, for the first 3 seasons, and then. No.
Well, yeah, a good portion. We'll say a good portion of the book, and transfer it over to the, and give you. I don't know how to say it.
Season 5 is what was put in. You know when you say they took that out of Harry Potter? You know when you were saying in that scene they took that out and showed you the start to the end? That's what he did with season 5, except he just was like, oh, it was like somebody drawing with crayon, going, oh, and you were like, oh, that's genius. And now they can't change it or go back, and the rest of the books aren't finished. So I was like, and they've done some good things too. Like they've done some good things too, but. It's like if you're talking about the depth of the books, like it pales in comparison. Like for real, it's like to put your Harry Potter, like my other half, Eris. Like I take the piss out of Harry Potter, but I enjoy it for what it is. It's a PG. It brought magic into the realm. It brought that belief. It brought fantasy to a level. Like Lord of the Rings came back into being remade, and like that brought wands and magic, and it made it kind of cool again and legit. And people read it, loved it. So. Even if I like it or don't, I respect the fuck out of it. Do you know what I mean? And then Eris was telling me about a character that I never seen in the movies. Like she was in the movies, but she wasn't in the movies. Luna Lovegood. And she was telling me about her backstory and character and shit. And I was like, where was that in the movies? And I was like, that was that blonde weird chick who was saying shit. And I was like, yeah, she only had a few lines. And then she was telling me actually about her. And I was like, that's awesome. And then she was like, yeah, that's why I'm pissed. Because we were relating to each other as to why I'm pissed about Game of Thrones, And it's like, Luna Lovegood. I'm like, shit, what a character. Because I read up on her bio then. I was like, what a character. Where was she?
Luna, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I don't care what anybody says. I'd marry Luna in a heartbeat. Luna's awesome. She's a quirky little weird, but she's like, she's that friend that you're like, I would, that they're going to be your friend. You know what I mean? Like, they got your back. From here to the sundown because she values things that most people her age I feel like didn't. She had to grow up a little bit. She's so funny.
About to go
That's a Quibbler. You want to win a Quibbler?
like that's one of the things I liked about it because I didn't know that. Like when she said who she was and showed me the picture, I was like, oh yeah, that was that chick in the background and said crazy shit. And it's like that should have been utilized more. I'm like, because all she got was the background chick. Let's make it about Harry. Harry, in my opinion, Neville is the hero of Harry Potter, not fucking Harry. I hate on Harry, to be honest with you. I hate on the Harry Potter series, but I don't hate it. It's not my cup of tea. But when I was told and I actually looked into the lore, I find Neville's lore pretty cool. I find Luna Lovegood's lore pretty cool. It's pretty dark, and I love Dumbledore's backstory pretty cool. Now, all I'm seeing on the screen, I've not read any books. All I'm seeing on the screen is you're a posh Gandalf. You're a background weirdo from a series that never made it, and Neville, you're like the wannabe hero who ends up good looking at the end. So what? I don't care about them. Do you know what I'm saying? From a movie perspective. But when I looked into their bio, because they was put me to it, I was like, these are great characters. Do you know what I mean? I was like, what happened?
They put a lot of what they
He got me in love with all his movies.
they've got the depth that he put or that she put into those characters is she got it spot on because if you read the books, I mean you haven't, but if you had and then you'd seen the movie, you would see there's no one else you could use for Harry Potter besides Daniel Radcliffe. There's no one else you could have used for Ron Weasley beside what's his name, Rupert Grant.
You sound like Peter Dinklage, Tyrion, and then you continue.
But like there really isn't Hagrid. You've got to use I can't remember his name, but you got to use that guy. Like, they did a good job as far as visually you be able, like how you read a book and you have it kind of playing out in your mind as you're reading the book.
That's the most beautiful part, mate. Before you've seen what these motherfuckers look like, that's the way I was with Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Exactly. This is where we're correlating here. It's like, that's exactly it.
That's why I love reading it before, if there's a book series, I love reading the book series before a show, and why I was kind of PO'd when I read I saw all the Hunger Games without reading the books first, and I regretted that, and then didn't even know there were books on Game of Thrones until I guess halfway through the season. And at that point, I was just like, I heard they're so different, I might as well just go ahead and finish the show and then read the books after. But yeah, I love the fact that you can visualize in your head, what basically exactly what the author's trying to tell you. And the thing is, if you talk to somebody, yeah, it's the same, but you can kind of pick out different things each time you go through the book. Or let's say I read a chapter and then you read a chapter, you might pick up little different things, I might pick up different things too. So it's just
but like, Alex, what pisses me off? No, finish your point, man. I'll say it, man.
I was just gonna say, if J.K. Rowling, G.R.R. Martin, Stephen King, and J.R. Tolkien somehow got together and could mold themselves into one, or J.K. Rowling, not trying to be mean, had sex with all of them, they all had kids or something like that, they'd be brilliant. Could you imagine the writing that would come out of that?
No, you wouldn't. You'd be fucked up, and you'd be all fucking divorcing each other from the family, and you'd be all trying to get copyrights for each book. It'd be an absolute mess, and no shows or movies would ever be made. Think about it.
Yeah.
Look at Christopher Tolkien. He will not sell the rights to the Silmarillion, which I have right in front of me there. I mean, it's a fucking mess.
Right. But I'm just saying, if they happen to somehow be able to come into one, if they could all have like one mind or whatever with their with their knowledge and with like think about I've written a couple short stories in my time, and the amount of thought you have to put in even just to a short story, you got to connect points A, B, and C, and then you got to bring it back around to A so it makes sense. You're not leaving an open-ended story, and then they're doing it on a scale where it's not only one book that's like this, it's several, and the whole thing has to come back around and make sense, and you've got to implement little loopholes, and then you got to throw the audience, a curveball here and there and stuff like that, and then still maintain everything at the end. So that's just, I really like, I guess it's because I'm a reader, but I really do admire authors and their talent for writing, because it's not easy, for sure. Heck, like I say, I made a short story, Lord of the Rings. There's Ents in Lord of the Rings, and those are the ant or the tree people. I made a short story about their history, like where did they come from, why they speak the way they do, stuff like that. So, and even that, like
That's awesome.
I would often go to sleep like with a little bit of a headache because you're really thinking and you're like, okay, how can I tie this into the main story of Lord of the Rings to where it fits in and with everything that Treebeard said, stuff like that. So it's I admire writers and authors, I really do.
Alex, I'm 4 books deep in my own book. You know what I mean? I took all the advice. I'll send you a link. Read it or don't.
Wait,
Yeah, you have
you've
what you
got
want.
4 books?
I have all the blueprints. I got to finish all the
Wow.
chapters, but there's 4 books in the line, and it's Spectrum, which is I won't. This stream is not about that, but I'll send you a link off stream and let me see what you think. There's like 5 chapters out there, which I have 40 more to put out. 70. Conor McGregor inspired me. It's like if J.R. Martin was in front of me, it's like I want him to shake my hand. That's my goal. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over me. And that is the utmost compliment to any of the writers I look up to, because that should be the attitude of every writer. I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over. I'll send you a link to it, man. So if you could notice a big smile on my face and you were saying it's so hard to come up with A to B and C, it's like 10 years I've been writing this series, mate. And it's just when you were saying that, I was just sitting back on, everything you were saying is just so true. I just wanted to do that to you. It's like, yeah. And mine was not even off the end to Lord of the Rings. I was like, I'm making this is mine. I was like, man, like Gollum was like, man, precious motherfucker. You know what I mean? But that's awesome. Thank you for even the way you were saying that. Like, it's everything you said is the absolute trials and tribulations of that shit.
Oh yeah. And then you fall into a little writer's block here and there and stuff like that.
No, I'm allergic to writer's block, man. I'd be writing fucking what the flowers are like that grow in certain fucking areas in my world, and why they grow that way under the vegetation, and why this culture fucking lives off that. And I'd write that in the back of the docket with a flower and a riddle. I'll put that docket in the back of my pocket and get back to work. You know what I mean? And then when I go home, it's like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? It's fucked up.
I don't get writer's block so much as I get like my brain, I guess, just kind of gets tired. You know what I mean? To the point where that's the point where I go listen to music for a little bit and then I can come back and start again. Yeah. But yeah, as far as writer's block, I've heard people like I just couldn't write for however long because I had writer's block. I've never had that problem. Usually,
when you feel. It's the difference. You know what I mean? When you feel it, when you feel them juices, get it. Fucking get it. Whatever craziness it is, get it. And then put it down and then continue on with your day. Because if you force it, you'll end up like season 5, season 6, and season 7 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Don't need that.
Difference. Yeah, that's the difference. Let it be. That's why I'm delighted that J.R.R. Martin. I'm not the only one. I know there's a hell of a lot of other people. I'm so happy that J.R.R. Martin is not releasing this book now. Winds of Winter. I don't. If that comes out in the next 2 years, I will make jokes about how long it takes to write. But I'm so happy because it shows me how much he cares. Even when the shit is on the hype, he could easily churn out average books right now and make a hell of a lot more money. He's kind of waiting on the show to die out because the show has gone so far off from the books, and he respects his books so much that he is just like he's losing out on a lot of money. Because think if he released them books now and when the season's popping, no, he doesn't care about that. He cares about his book, so I know it's going to be amazing. When I heard that he rang up D&D and said about the snippet, I'll give you one snippet. Hold on. Do you want to know what hold on means and why that's that? And you were like, that makes sense. That's why that episode, that's why everybody remembers, like, that's one of the best episodes of the whole series. And then you're like, because J.R.R. Martin goes, I'll give you a little something. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, so I'm so confident that's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. If the show can die out, I don't care. Winds of Winter is going to be amazing because he still cares. And I was like, yes.
Word on that. Well, like what you and I were talking about earlier, not selling yourself out. J.R.R. Martin hasn't sold himself out. Because like you said, he could put out a bunch of average books and make money off it just because people would buy it right now. But he's like, no. I've invested my time into this book. I'm going to take the time. Right, his soul, yeah. His life. I'm going to take the time it takes and complete it, to my liking, to my timeline, the way I want to do it. and that way you guys can get not a good, better than most series. You guys can get a spectacular series that will be remembered for all time.
Yep.
So
yep. The show might fizzle out and then end averagely, but then it's like you'll always have that argument going, read the books. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
When we're all dead and gone, read the whole books. You know what I mean? And maybe 50 years from now, they'll redo the whole Game of Thrones and they'll have the whole story and it'll be even better. Do you know what I mean? Same with Lord of the Rings, but they did have but with Lord of the Rings, they would have to have the Silmarillion and the earlier stories. If you want to retell Lord of the Rings, because if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, the Lewin love story. I'm not a love story man, but Lewin is in love with my favorite character of all time from Lord of the Rings, and they can't use that because they only have the rights for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You know, they can't use that. So here's what it is.
Dang, man.
Sorry for the tangent. This is shout out to Jon Snow. That's what this stream's about.
Oh yeah, Jon Snow. I'm kidding. But yeah. Well, I mean, y'all, we pretty much concluded what we're talking about. We're just kind of chatting now, so just about random things. But yeah, this is just our little Jon Snow live stream, and
I was right there.
you gotta spectate. You gotta spectate and just theorize for right now because they're not giving us anything. And I would even they got a lid on it this year. I mean, yeah, they've got even the leaks that came out this year. I don't think are leaks. I think they've got. I wouldn't be surprised if they've got like two people or a couple people who are probably on the Game of Thrones team who are putting out stuff out there just to get people to bite on it. Because people will.
I agree. This one didn't hit home with me. That's what I said. Season 7 when they came out was feeling it made sense, everything fit. This one doesn't fit well with me. So I agree. There's just something, I call it instinct. It doesn't fit with me. Like some of the shit they're saying maybe hits. It's kind of like a cold reader, when they call out names and shit. It's like some of it hits, some of it doesn't. You know what I mean? That's how it feels for me.
But then, hey, either way, it's gonna be good because A, it's the end. B, Dan and Dave don't want to repeat their mess ups from season 7, and C, this is the last season. You can't have everything be great and then the last season tank. You know what I mean? Think about when you go, check out a show. Usually people they look at the beginning and they go, okay, what's the show about? And then they look at the end and go, okay, how's it conclude or whatever. You don't want the conclusion to be crap after everyone. Literally, you've gotten so many people into watching it. So, yeah, it's gonna be a good season because they're taking the time. The leaks are, they're keeping a lid on the leaks. Apparently, the actors only have their script, I believe, right? So, yeah, I think they're taking all the measures they need to make this great.
First one. Oh.
I hope, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hope. Season 7 wasn't even all that bad, but the plot holes were the plot holes that I did have were fucking deep. Do you know?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like,
and I think it's because we got a little spoiled. We got a little spoiled to okay, yeah, they're on par, they're good, like they don't really mess up on anything really, and then they're like, why did they all of a sudden do that? You know what I mean? It's like once it's like a pro, race car driver or something, and he drives a car and ends up crashing in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. You're like, how'd you crash in a 30-mile-per-hour zone? Aren't you a race car driver?
Had an engine that could go for 100 laps.
Oh shit!
But
I'll feel you.
Okay, y'all, we're gonna pop off here. Thank you very much for coming in and watching us just chit chat, and feel free to leave your comments on. Let's keep this going in the comments and stuff. Feel free to leave comments on who you think the Smith, Stranger, whatever will be. Leave your comments on if Jon Snow will survive or whatever. Because this is a discussion that's always going to be ongoing. I feel like so. Oh, look, we got Brooke Black in here. Luna Lovegood. Yeah, we were talking about
Wait. I know he's talking shit. What did he say? Just when you said, bro, I know he's talking shit.
He said, Luna Lovegood, question mark, wait, Johnny, a.k.a. Neville supporter?
Dick.
And he said, explains it. What's good, Black Wolf?
Yeah, BBM, you know the biggest shocker, yeah? It's like, right? The biggest shocker, yeah? You, like, Alex will back me up on this. Is, I was the one that brought the Luna Lovegood shit up. That's, fuck Harry Potter. Fuck Harry Potter. Fuck it.
Yeah, he did say as a movie series he doesn't particularly like it, but you know your girl's into it, so that means in a certain way you got to be into it too, right?
Minus the Prisoner of Azkaban, I think that movie is brilliant. I give Prisoner of Azkaban a solid 9 out of 10. I loved how they done the time shit, and visually, I've never read the book, so I'm sure the book is better. But I love how they done the time skip because it's very hard to do a time skip. And for me, when I watched it, I was like, "That's brilliant." So the Prisoner of Azkaban, I'm an outside Harry Potter dude. That's my favorite movie that I watched from it. I was like, "Oh, that's brilliant."
It is I do, as far as acting, that is one of the ones I like the best because, and even Daniel Radcliffe said it himself. When Daniel Radcliffe acts with, pardon me for forgetting Sirius Black's his actor's name, but when he acts with him, the acting's brilliant, and it's just, I mean, it's brilliant what he said.
Yeah, it is. I really enjoyed that movie. That's one Harry Potter movie I enjoyed. Shit. I think you're wrapping it up. Now that BBM is here, I think it's the best time to stop the stream. Seriously, loving empty sniffing bastard.
BBM, you did actually come in at the end of the stream. I hate to say it. I started it, and just so you guys know about what happened earlier, I started the stream, did everything right, popped into the Hangouts, and my computer's touchscreen, and my laptop's touchscreen, and I accidentally hit Keton, bub, and I accidentally hit my start broadcast button, and so that's why I had to recreate a whole new video, send Johnny a new link, and all that. So, but yeah, noob stuff.
Yeah, can I say, Alex, as you wrap it up, can I say my final word? Yeah, I'm Johnny Indie Boots now, yeah? Johnny space Indie space Boots. Because I'm Johnny, I love indie music, and I wear funky ass boots, motherfucker. It's with that logic, yeah? Johnny Indie Boots. And BBM, you were not on this panel, so fuck seriously. And Alex, a humble cheers for having me, and it was a great conversation, and always fun, my friend. It will not be the last one that we do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Black Wolf the Nerd here. Love doing this stuff. I love collabing with people. I mean, I like doing my own streams too, but I love Johnny. You guys know that he racks my brains. He keeps me up and going when it comes to Game of Thrones. So salute. Johnny Indie Boots for 2018. Broke Black Man said. Come 2019, Johnny Longbottom.
Dick. I said my last goodbye statement, you dick.
But yeah, Johnny made a. I'm actually gonna say this while the live stream is going because this is brilliant. Johnny was saying earlier about how Black Wolf is a common name. You type in Black Wolf, you could get Black Wolf National Park, blah 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 blah, or Black Wolf a song or whatever. So I'm gonna make my name a little new, and yeah.
You said daddy daycare.
So it's just gonna be different. That way you all can, find me a little easier. And what was the end name we ended up throwing around?
Well,
you
your
came
name
up
is
with
Black Wolf, the original Shaggy Dog, because he is the original Black Wolf.
That's pertaining specifically to Game of Thrones, and I can keep the same. I don't know the same word. Basically, I'm trying to, once I get Patreons and things of that sort, my Patreons will be my wolf pack. You feel me? So because Black Wolves, that's why I was doing it like that. So I can keep with the same layout, I guess. So that'll be nice. Have a little wolf pack.
Tom Riddle.
Tom Riddle. Yeah, Tom Marvolo Riddle. That's man. We need to turn the stream off because we could go for hours start talking about Game of Thrones and Harry Potter and all the whole different stuff. So. Oh, he said he saw the notification and thought it was an old one. Yeah, I figured that's probably what would happen. People would see it and think it was an old one. But oh well. Hey, we got people.
Ever since BBM hit over 1K subscriptions, you know what I mean? No, fucking no. BBM's a cool motherfucker, man. One love to BBM. He makes me respect religion as an agnostic dude. And one love to you, Alex, for having me on as well, brother. And everyone who participated in the chat, absolute salute.
For sure. And Milt, thanks for your your good input there. And thanks for everybody. How come there's only? Oh, everyone's out of there. Okay, well, Milt, Felicia, obviously Johnny, Broke Black, OTDA, David, Eduardo. I appreciate it, y'all. Take care. Broke Black Wolf. Dude, that's the second time I've almost said Broke Black Wolf. I actually said it that time.
You say Broke Black Wolf?
Because I see his name and I'm like, yeah, good lord.
BBW is for a different stream.
That's so true already.
Black Wolf, the nerd. Out.
You know what BBW stands for? Big Black Willie.
Big Black. Yeah, we'll go with that,
That's me.
right?
That's me.
Oh my gosh.
You good.
Take care, y'all.